Hey guys, so I'm just going to walk you very quickly through the explanation of the project that you guys are working on this whole week for those of you who are absent or who missed the day where we explain the project. So I'm going to go ahead and minimize myself. I'm going to open up my It's Learning. I already have American Lit open and go to Resources. I'm just going to scroll down here all the way down to week 5 and I'm going to open that and click on Monday. So when Monday opens, it shows the different options. You'll have 3 options for your project, but this is really the one you want to open, this number 1 box. I'm going to go ahead and pull it open for you. So there are 3 options. Like I said, you have the Poetry Challenge, you have the Tiny House brochure, and you have the Transcendental playlist. So the first option that you have is that you can do a Poetry Challenge. So using Whitman's "Oh Captain, My Captain," remember that we read during virtual school, and you're going to write your own poetic ode, your own poem to someone or something that has inspired you. And it can be anything. It does not have to be like Whitman's was to Abraham Lincoln during the Civil War. Like, it doesn't have to be that fancy. It could be to your cat or to your car or to somebody has a fascination with shoes. It could be an ode to your shoes or your shoe collection, whatever. It can be about anything. And then it has to be 3 stanzas with at least 5 lines per stanza, so at least 15 lines. And it should tie to at least 2 transcendental or romantic tenets, and you need to have 3 paragraphs of explanation about how your poem fulfills each of those tenets. And down here, it just shows how the paragraph setup is when you're explaining your tenets. It's just like what we did with our Crucible project. The setup for the paragraphs is very similar. And then underneath here, you'll have a link to your rubric, to guiding questions, to an example, and to template. So here is an example that Ms. Tor wrote. This is an ode to a cat. And then we have this, we have our little MLA citation heading up here at the top, and then we have our poem here in the middle. So, and then there's the explanation afterwards of the poem. All right, I'm going to go back out. There is a template here, but honestly, that one, the template matters less than the other ones. So then the second option is a tiny house. And you're going to create a tiny house, not a tiny house community, but you're going to create one in your mind. And then you're going to create a brochure where you sell that tiny house community to transcendental-like people. Remember, the transcendentalists were very, divinity in nature, optimism, like those things the tiny house community really adheres to, plus this idea of materialism is bad and minimalism is good, which of course the tiny house community really upholds. So you'll create a brochure, and then you need a 2 to 3 paragraph explanation about how your brochure shows all of these tenets and these values. And I'm going to give you a little example here that Ms. Tor made. So this one, once you make your template, your brochure, you'll have to just save it as a JPEG and then insert it as a picture into your Google Slides. You need the slides for your explanations. Those will come after. So you'll have this is Walden Village, so you'll name your community and explain it, and then tell what it is, tell where it is. You can make up a fake address and a fake email. And then there's some pictures. We have some more pictures and what's inside, what the amenities are, and here are some of the features. So you'll create your brochure to sell to your community, and then you'll explain how each of the several of the elements go with Transcendentalists. Okay, that's your tiny house community. There are template options here. So if you go into the template options, if you just like open this one, you kind of have to walk through the process here. You'll have to use the template. You'll use, it'll ask you too if you'll use your school email. This should work fine, but then the template pops up. Here's the first page, here's the second page. Brochures are front and back. So once you created your whole piece, then you would save it and then you would insert it into your Google Slides. But for Monday, the goal was for everyone to have chosen their project. So whether you're going to do the poem, the playlist, or the brochure, and then if you did tiny house, then choosing your template and like kind of getting started on the template process of the home, the community. All right, so back to our project. The last one is a Transcendental playlist. This one is probably the most popular. There are a couple of caveats with this one. You're going to choose 5 songs from your own playlist. This should not be things that you've Googled, but from your own music that you listen to. And each song should represent one of the tenets. You can do the divinity of nature, individualism, nonconformity, optimism, self-reliance, or the 5 I's. That's fine too. If you want to do the 5 I's, it also works. But you need to have one song to represent each. And then you need to explain those songs. You'll also create a cover. I'm going to show you what that looks like here. Here's Ms. Tor's example. So you will have some kind of cover for your playlist. That's your creative piece, right? It should fill some kind of transcendental values. Your introduction should discuss your cover image. You just need at least this paragraph where you just discuss your cover image and tell me how it's transcendentalist. And then you have your 5 songs. And then in each of your 5 songs, you'll need to choose 2 specific lyrics and tell how those lyrics, like this one is foster the people and it's nonconformity. So each of these paragraphs or little pieces right here should talk about how those support nonconformity and how the song as a whole supports nonconformity. And you'll do each one for each song with one of the tenets. The pictures in the background are good as long as you can see the lyrics, so make sure you do like boxes on top of the pictures to make sure that the lyrics are easy to see so that Ms. Tor and myself don't go blind trying to read your project. The only other thing about this particular one is that there are songs that are banned, and these are songs that are just songs that are just overused, or they're not songs that you guys would really listen to today, and they're just in like Google Transcendental song lists. So you can't use any of these songs. You'll have to choose something else. But the goal is, if you look at the rubric for this one, is for you to have unique songs. So here, if you want that A, your songs are unique. If your songs are repeated in other people's projects, both your project and their project are going to get dinged for this creativity points, because it's not very creative if you're all using the same songs. So I would say if you find a song that you like, or a song that you listen to, or an artist that you like, you probably want to use some of their songs that are not like really popular, just because you want to try to get these most unique points. All of the projects have pretty much the same setup rubric. Like they all have creativity that's worth the same amount of points. They all have evidence worth the same amount of points, explanations, requirements, and grammar. So just know that no matter what project you choose, the rubrics are going to be the same for all of them. There's some kind of creative piece and then some kind of explanation piece with every project. Finally, I do want to show you how the plagiarism checker works for its learning. So I'm going to kind of pop down here and get to our Crucible project, if you remember. And it might take a second to pop up, so give me a second. So I found a project here that's loading, and this one says there's a 14% match. So if I click on this, if you'll look at what they give me, this is what its learning shows me, that over here, let me move myself out of the way, it says that there's a 4% match to a Forsyth County school project. So I can look here at what the match is, and I can see who it's matched from. So like, oh, here's the student that it's matched to, and here are the items that are matched. But look here, it tells me this is the part that's matched. So you can see clearly that's not plagiarized, that's just from my own template, right? So here and here, these are from templates. But if I back out, I can go down here and look, oh, this is from the internet. If I click on that, the thing that says that it's being plagiarized is this quote from the Crucible. So clearly that's in quotation marks and it's cited, so that's not plagiarism. But I just wanted you to see that we can see matches for whatever you support, whatever you submit to the internet and to other students of Forsyth. So you don't want to copy anybody's work, because that'll give you a 0 and then it's a whole bunch of paperwork. We have to write you up and all that stuff. So don't do that. Do your own lyrics. Ms. Tor and I will help you do everything that needs to be done. Make sure that you use your template. So today, your task was to choose which project you wanted to do. If you're doing the poem, at least choose your topic. If you're doing the tiny house, choose your template. And if you're doing the song lyrics, start picking out your songs. And then we'll have our next 2 class periods, full class periods, 90 minutes to work on the rest of the project. So these are due the end of this week. So Thursday, if you're an even class, Friday, if you're an odd class, at the end of the class period. Okay? So come see Ms. Tor and I if you have any questions, and good luck.